Bingo Blitz rules.
If your bingo has ads in it,
That's not a bingo.
if it doesn't have the coolest tournaments, mini games, and the most breathtaking design,
Nope, not a bingo.
if your bingo moment makes you feel so excited that you just want to burst in joy and scream out loud, bingo! Sorry, so you're playing...
Bingo Blitz? Now that's a bingo. Go for a world of excitement with Bingo Blitz, the #1 free bingo game. Download Bingo Blitz and play for free.
Now that's a bingo.
Hi, I'm Jennifer, a founder of the Go Kid Go network. At Go Kid Go, putting kids first is at the heart of every show that we produce. That's why we're so excited to introduce a brand new show to our network called The Search for the Silver Lining, a fantasy adventure series about a spirited young girl named Isla who time travels to the mythical land of Camelot. Look for The Search for the Silver Lining on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hello, every fucking buddy.
Wow, why are you talking to our sensitive ear, very precious listeners like that?
Oh, I thought you were calling yourself sensitive.
I am.
We are both. I mean, that's okay. I can't even say it sarcastically because I am so sensitive about
I
something.
thought you were an actress.
Oh, I am. And if you watch Love Island, I could give you the actress. You are an actress. Ugh. I tried to send Melissa a clip of UK Love Island, and she was like, I don't understand a single fucking word these people are saying.
Didn't get it. I understood suck on,
I licked her tit or whatever.
yeah, whatever they said. I got that, but I didn't understand anything else. I was like, I'm so lost.
One day,
No.
if you get like, hold on, if you get like, you're granted, like, you get that apartment you want. It's not technically an apartment, but I don't know what to call it without
It's
outing you and your.
We can call it a condo.
A condo. You get that condo you want,
Mhm.
and like a genie, it comes with a genie who grants you a wish to be like, time will stop, and you can watch every television show that you've ever wanted to watch. I just want it to be somewhere on your list.
But like, who said I ever wanted to watch that show?
I want you to watch the show.
I'm so behind on all my housewives, so
Yeah, you watch more TV than like me, and I also understand that to anybody who's not like a Love Island fan, like the idea that like this is a show that is on every day.
But the thing is, I
It's
watch my
so-
soap operas
Oh,
every day.
yeah.
So that's the thing. It's like I just don't have time in the rotation.
Okay, that's fine. But
'Cause I watch
yeah.
two soap operas every day, hour long.
Yeah,
Well,
so
they're
you're like, it's not
36
that I don't
minutes.
understand the concept. It's
Yeah.
like I'm familiar, but my schedule is packed because
Yes,
I've
I have to
understood this
work
concept.
and sleep-ish, and
She went to bed at 4 a.m.
No, I woke up
Oh,
at
I
4
mean-
a.m. I went to sleep at 10 p.m.
But we have decided though that apparently you on 4 hours of sleep is like even with me and like my brain. So like I feel extra connected today.
Okay.
I don't want this for you to continue. Like I want you to sleep more.
I just
but
want
I
to
feel
be able to
seen.
like my eyes aren't completely open, and I just wanted to be able to have them open without feeling tension in my
That's-
orbital area.
I didn't even know that's how I was feeling, but that is how I am keeping my eyes open.
Mhm.
Like it's a conscious
Yes, very
effort that
much so.
I'm like, if I I can't let myself blink too long. No, don't do it. I will just like slowly fall over.
Yeah, I'm trying not to. I was more entertained by the fact that you just tried to move your bangs out of your eyes, but they weren't there to begin with.
Yeah, I don't know what I was feeling. I have so many problems. You have no idea.
I think I do.
Yeah, you actually do. You're very familiar. Anyways, welcome to the podcast. This is Don't Blame Me, a wonderful, fantastic, life-changing podcast starring two people who give wonderful, life-changing, amazing advice. And you might be wondering, Melissa, how are we qualified to give such great advice? Just move past it. Okay, I know it sounded a little bit like I was going to accidentally say the name of the other
No,
podcast.
but the thing is, when you didn't say the other, I thought it was wrong. So
Oh, you're like,
yeah. So it was like a double. Yeah.
uh-huh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh. Watch the video version so you can just understand what's happening. Patreon. So wait, so why are we qualified to give advice?
Because what we lack in credentials, we make up in opinions.
Yeah.
You usually say the first part.
You're
and
right.
then
You're right. I was like,
so
where
that's
are you
why I was
lacking? And
confused.
I'm messing up our zone.
No, it's fine. We're here together.
We're in
We
this
see
together.
each other.
We see each other. What is that from?
Real Housewives of Atlanta.
Why do I know these like
Because
random fucking phrases?
They're iconic.
Was it Nene?
It was Nene and I forgot which one it was. I was on my
bullshit.
If I was on more sleep than I could, I think it was Nene said I see you, and then Candy said we see each other.
So is it safe to say that like Nene is one of the only housewives I can name, and like of all of the quotes that I know, vast majority end up being Nene. Is Nene the most quotable? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Are they the most quotable like in like culture?
Yeah, Nene by far of any franchise, I believe, is number one. But her and Candy never really got they didn't dislike each other.
Was that who the white refrigerator comment was at?
No, that was Kenya, and they ended up very much not liking each other. But Nene would say things, and then Candy had like good retorts to them.
Quick.
Yeah.
I mean I like all the audios on TikTok. Like she sounds funny, and the fact that she was on Glee, it just like makes my brain melt. Similar to Jane Lynch on Glee. And
they played very similar characters.
Oh, they
were rivals. Yeah.
Sometimes when I think of Glee, I wonder if Ryan Murphy ever watched Dance Moms and he wanted to make Jane Lynch like Abby Lee Miller, and then all of the competition was like the cherry. What were they called?
I've never seen Dance Moms. It feels racist to me. I don't know why, but it just feels racist. So I was like,
it is. Okay. First of all, Miss Holly is like the icon, like absolute icon. She is like, I think, I want to say it, but she's the only Black woman on, like only all the rest of the
I didn't even know
kids.
There was a Black person on there.
She's the one, and she's also like a literally like a fucking doctor and a lawyer, and is like the smartest woman in the room and the quickest one, and just like the absolute goat. Like she carried the actual like morality of that show on her shoulders, and she was surrounded by the most wild people, the most wild people. But yeah, no, you're not wrong on picking up racist undertones from that show.
When I think of that show, the only thing that comes to mind is not even like, I guess there's children dancing on it, but
is her in the
when she's in the scooter and she just
she fucking reverses out.
That's the only thing I know from that show.
Street. Yeah, I do wonder if they took a little bit of Glee from Dance Moms. It's truly a show about children being bullied and then their moms fighting.
Okay. I would hate it.
Yeah, JoJo, that's where JoJo Siwa came from.
Oh. Is her mom like that?
I don't remember. I didn't like watch it in depth. I was always more of like I really liked I liked the parents. Like I liked Holly, and the kids were cute. I would like watch the dances. But I was also like a kid, you know? They're not, because I'm pretty sure, I mean, they're younger than me, but they're not like that much. Okay, some of them are like a lot younger than me. But some of the older ones.
Aren't you like 10 years older than JoJo Siwa?
Yeah, that's what came in my head. I was like, okay. But I've told you the story about how Abby Lee Miller stopped me and told me I was beautiful. And if you've ever wanted a compliment more, like a compliment from a reality TV show villain actually like means a lot. You know what I mean? Who, if you could have any like celebrity, not like someone like, not a fuckable person, but like in like oh wow, someone giving you a compliment, would it be like a reality show hero or villain? And who would it be?
Nene already gave me a compliment, so.
What did she say?
She said, she actually gave me 3 compliments. She said I was pretty. She said, you better direct. And
I'm sorry. Just like, she said I was pretty, and then we get a direct quote. Did she say that when you were just like?
I was calling like action and stuff.
I'm obsessed with that.
Yeah.
That's encouragement that you need. You need to be hired as your personal hype woman on sets.
It was 3, but I don't remember what the third. She was very nice.
Yeah, I remember you told me that.
Like, so she was like an hour and a half late, but very nice.
Hey, divas.
Yeah.
That's what they do.
She was like, I was at the taco place down the street. I think I'm gonna buy it. I was like, okay, Nene.
Wow. I love that. Didn't follow through on your word, Nene.
No.
Wait, that's so... You better direct. I will.
You know what? I probably have it on.
Oh my God.
No, because I yelled cut and she would have said it after it.
Because imagine like if you were able, like I feel like you'd have to license it from her, but like you know how like they have like the Mike Schur production or they have like all that stuff and they always like a little audio. If yours was like your production company, you better direct. Like that would it'd be like, is that neat? Because isn't it like what's that guy's Nick Offerman? He does the voice for like Fremulon.
Is it?
Yeah.
That makes
and like
sense.
that could have been Nene.
Yeah.
You can
I'll
just
have
hire
to go
her.
back and look on the tape.
She can act though, so she can redo it.
But it's something that's, when it's in the moment.
Well, oh my God.
Real.
I wish there was like just a camera on you too for like your reaction
it was
to that.
One of the greatest days of
I'm
my life.
sure. Wow. I'm really glad I asked that question because that was like a way better answer than I could have anticipated.
Lisa Vanderpump has also.
That's what I thought you were going to say.
Like, but I've already. That's what done I meant. It too.
Yeah.
Like, so it's like I've already had it fulfilled.
She's accomplished all of her hopes and dreams, everybody.
She's always been problematic, but Bethany Frankel has done some just like... Did you see she got like the Icon Award for MTV or something? Reality Icon Award?
No.
And you know that song, that sound on TikTok, Bad Bitch, it's a genre, you know that sound?
Yeah.
Well, she got up and like said it in her speech and didn't give credit to that woman.
And isn't that one of the ones that's trademarked that?
I don't know, but I know she didn't give credit to that woman.
Yikes.
And
a bunch of TikTokers
like
have been trademarking
as they should
their like catchphrases, audios and that stuff because you can't do it through like TikTok. It doesn't protect you. So people have been doing it. I'm pretty sure Are You Not Embarrassed? I'm pretty sure she trademarked a couple of hers.
That would make sense.
I think because then someone tried to use one in like an ad or something.
So yeah, she used it in her speech, and then people were like, because she's on TikTok like all day.
Yeah, it's weird.
Like I don't follow her at all.
She shows up constantly. She's doing like affordable makeup routines, and I'm like, her whole thing is like, I'm rich, so you should trust me when I tell you this affordable product is good. And I'm like, no, I don't know. You're really aggressive, and you named your entire brand off of being skinny. So like, I don't actually trust anything you do. Right,
and so she just doesn't give credit to people when she takes things from them. And so I'm just, at this point, I'm just like, I did love you, but I don't.
Gaslight, gatekeep, girl boss.
Right.
If only that was the one that she really aligned herself with. She's not that self-aware though. Because that is...
No, she is though.
You think,
yeah, like that woman is like smart.
Okay.
Like brilliant.
She makes a lot of money.
She gives away a lot of money too.
Yeah,
but she's
got her plane that she does stuff with.
Yeah, and she does great. She does a lot of great things, but does a lot of terrible things. And I think she thinks that it balances each other out, and it doesn't.
No, I think there are very few things that like I don't think I believe in heaven. I believe in the good place and the bad place and the medium place. But in high school, me and Sydney used to joke that it was like there is like if it's like a tally system. There are certain things. If you do this one thing, then you basically like as long as you don't royally fuck up the rest of everything in your life. Like if you save someone's life, automatic good place unless you take someone else's life.
But what if it was like you save somebody bad's life?
Okay, so we were like 16, so we really didn't think through all of this, but we would talk about it in like the sense of like people who were like absolute bitches at school, obviously not to like the level of Bethany Frankel, but then would like try and be so nice. And I'm like, no, these are not weighted the same way. You're not, you think that you're compensating for like you being like a horrible person by doing these nice things. But I'm like, no, they're different weights here. You have to save someone's life if you want like a guaranteed free pass.
Exactly the Good Place.
Did we write The Good Place when we were like 16?
All right.
So after all of that gossip catching up, we should probably explain the podcast. It's an advice podcast. You call in, you leave us voicemails, and we give you wonderful, amazing advice. We give the advice that we would like to see in the world. We are not the friends that you call when you just want to be like, yes, everything you're doing is great. We're not yes people. Unless we want to be yes people and we feel like that. We give you like the tough love advice that, you might not want to hear, but it's what you need to hear. Let us know if you're sensitive when you call in. And if you want to call in for an upcoming episode, you can leave us a voicemail at 310-694-0976. International listeners, you can send us an audio message at meghanpodcast@gmail.com. You have to keep it under 3 minutes for both. That's 3 minutes from the time that you start talking, not like your phone timer that Melissa pointed out a couple of episodes ago. So like, don't look at your phone timer from like the time that you call in or however you've been on.
It. Yeah. When it goes beep, subtract it.
That's when you have 3 minutes from. And the best way to give the call is to write everything down, practice it, time it out a couple times to make sure you're under 3 minutes. Let us know your age, if it's about other people in the story, their ages, your pronouns, their pronouns if you would like, and any fake names. It's all anonymous, but we want to know how old you are, if it's about relationships, how long you've been together, just as many details as possible that will influence us giving like the best advice. And you have to be 18 or over, have your parents' permission, and you will be cut off if you don't do 3 minutes.
Yep.
Financially. We will come into your house and rob you. Wow, maybe we should up the stakes.
I think we're good.
Okay.
So can we get the update now?
Yep.
So I was the maid of honor that was peed on, and I'm calling in for hopefully the final update. Last time I called in, I answered some questions in regards to the Bachelorette. And then I also kind of went through the last few texts I received from the bride and some awful things that her and her fiance were saying. And so last weekend, so this was like a couple days ago, was their wedding. And 3 days before that, 3 days, I got a text from her. And the last text I had received from her was April 15th. So we really have not talked since this whole debacle. And she texted me and was like, hi, I've been thinking about you a lot recently. And me and blank, so her and her husband, would still love for you and your boyfriend to attend the wedding. Let me know.
What?
You're kidding.
Yeah. So now I was livid because I struggle with trying to, be like, well, why didn't she do this? When I have to realize like, hey, not everybody would make the same decisions as you or reach out like you, but I don't understand why she wouldn't ask me out for lunch or ask me to go have a glass of wine with her or FaceTime or call me. She literally sent me the most like disingenuous text I think could ever exist.
Wow.
So I texted her back. And we have a mutual friend's bachelorette coming up. Of course, here's another one.
Oh
no! Get your own room.
It's like, and it's like a lake day. Like we're literally just like going and sitting in the water.
She can pee in the lake. Like if it gets on you by proxy, it is what it is.
Yeah. In her bathing suit, no one will know. So I texted her and I was like, hi, I'm very much at peace that we have gone our separate ways. With, I'll call her like Susie's bachelorette coming up. I really hope that we won't discuss this any further and we can move on.
That was mature.
And she didn't answer me. And so therefore, I just find like it was so disingenuous.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, maybe that's just me, but I was like, I feel like the only reason you wanted me there, I don't know what it's like again in the States, but in Canada, you have to bring presentation.
Oh, yeah.
It's called. Yeah. So I'm like, honestly, it's to the point where I wouldn't even put it past her. She's like, well, if they come, they'll bring presentation.
Is that money?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you're supposed to bring like up to like $300 in cash.
Yeah. So maybe that's like how they budgeted for their wedding is they like allotted for the amount of people they were inviting to like offset their own cost.
And I understand that might be a stretch, but honestly, like knowing her, I wouldn't put it past her. And then Susie actually reached out to her too and was like, hey, my bachelorette's coming up. I don't want this fusing over like this. It needs to be done. Like, I don't want you communicating with me. So with her at my bachelorette and causing a scene. And she responded to Susie and was like, me and her had already had a discussion. So I said to Susie, I'm like, if you consider a discussion her not answering my text, okay.
Wow. I mean, I don't think you're off base at all for like thinking that. I mean, I think that's really disingenuous. Like to me, that just seems like, yeah, either in my head, I don't remember about the money thing. So like that, but then also like when someone will be like an obvious presence that is missed, then like everyone hears about the drama. Then like everyone talks about it. So like I went to a wedding where a couple was like miraculously not there. And it was like a very obvious thing of being like, wait, why aren't these people here? And then like a good solid chunk of the dinner was like all of us talking about the drama that went down, which like not everybody knew, but then suddenly it's like, oh, now we're all talking about it. And like, it becomes like gossip in that sense that like, I could also see that being a part of it, that like, they would rather like, if you're there, then it just can be like, if we act like this is like absolutely no big deal. And like, this wasn't like a whole ordeal and this wasn't a whole thing, we can brush it under the rug. And then maybe she won't tell people and like, it won't be as embarrassing for us. And we won't have to like actually admit and own up to like the absolute monstrosity of her.
Yeah. Well, and also I'm like, you want me to go to an event where you've shit talked me for the past like 4 months and I'm supposed to be like comfortable with that?
Yeah, no.
I'm
like,
and give her money.
Yeah. Well, and it's also, I feel like I'm damned if I go and I'm damned if I don't go because, you know, then she can have the response of like, well, I invited her and she still didn't come. And it's like, at this point though, I don't care. Like, I'm like, I just have to like respect myself enough to be like, I'm not going.
Yeah.
She peed on you.
She peed on you.
Yeah. She peed on me and then her fiance went off on me and like literally told the entire, everybody who could possibly be at the wedding. And like, what?
I just think the audacity of them to think that they can talk shit on you when like you have the biggest dirt on her in the world.
Yeah, that's what I said. I said, I bet nobody knows that you urinated on me. Probably not. Honestly, probably not. Why would she say that?
Yeah, but like if I peed on someone, whether it was accidental or like specifically out of malice, like my entire rest of my life would just be about like being so kind to that person in hopes that they wouldn't tell the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, no, like, let me clarify. She hasn't reached out, hasn't apologized, hasn't asked like, hey, do you want to get together for lunch? Or like, hey, could we have a phone call tonight? Like, I wanted to chat with you. Like, I feel like that would be more genuine than like, hey, let me know if you're coming to my wedding.
It would show like remorse versus just like, she's not acknowledging it. And like by not acknowledging it, then there's no apology. And then there is no like recognizing like I did this horrible thing. And like, you can't move on if you're not even going to acknowledge it happened.
And unfortunately, I don't think this will be the last update because you still have this other.
I see her in like 10 days.
Yep.
How long is this bachelorette party?
It's literally just the day. So it's like we get there at noon and everyone please leave by 9 type of thing.
Maybe she needs like her own like bucket to pee in that like
they're gonna be in the water.
I know, but you like write her name on it that like everybody can use this bathroom except for you. Here's your bucket to pee in.
Here, Bridezilla right here. The other bride over here.
Oh my gosh.
That's so. Does the other bride know the story?
Yeah, and she's actually, well, it was funny. We used to be like the trio, like really close.
Oh gosh.
And so now we're not. And I'm a little like, I don't know, I'm just being selfish. I'm a little sassy that Susie is still inviting her to these things. But she was like, you know, she's like, I'm just trying to stay out of it. It doesn't involve me, which like, as much as I appreciate, I'm like, that's just you like tolerating the behavior.
Yep.
So I'm just going to go in with an open mind. And, you know, just prepare myself, though, if I need to throw a little fire out, in case, just be prepared.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I'm going to try my best to just avoid.
No, that's a good call. I would be mad too.
How many people are going?
There's like 20 people.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So it's pretty easy to avoid. Pretty easy to avoid. But I would be annoyed with the current bride, Susie, too. Like, when people are like, well, no, that person's never done anything to me. Until one day that they pee on you. And then here I'm going to be like, I told you so. Like, I hate that shit. Like, my thing of like, my friend hates someone and I don't know them or I don't hate them. I'm like, why do we hate them? Like, tell me why we hate them. Not like, well, they've never done that to me. I'm just like, no. I have no loyalty to that person.
Randomly, Meghan reposted somebody on TikTok that I have a personal, very petty beef with, but she didn't know. She probably didn't even know that we knew each other.
No clue. She's on my TikTok, just a lady on my TikTok.
Yeah, and I was like, I won't be explaining why. Yeah. And then Meghan said, "Can I
I was like, how do I unrepost something?
Like that was her immediate response.
Yeah,
which is fine. My beef is very petty, and it's all on me. And
I support it though.
Yeah, but
I don't even know what it is, and I support it.
Yeah,
I'm
but
on your
I'm
side.
saying like that's what should happen.
Yeah,
that's a good friend. And I said, well, she's not doing anything to you until she shows up wasted or something ridiculous at your bachelorette and tries to like ruin the day by like stirring the pot.
Yeah.
But I don't know. We'll find out. I'll write into the Instagram page if anything wild happens.
Yeah.
Please do. I was just about to ask that. I hope it's like fun. I hope it's not like too stressful. And I hope that there's like some other people there that you can like bond with and hang out with and you have a good time and it's not. Obviously, I hope you're able to avoid her, but I also hope you're like also able to like have fun too and enjoy it.
Yeah.
And
I agree.
Please keep us updated if anything
You
happens.
know it.
We appreciate it so much. You are a legend and an icon.
Yeah.
So are you ladies. Couldn't do without you.
Thank you for taking time out of your workday twice now.
Yeah.
Of course. Anytime.
Number one champ. Number one fucking champ. Well, we look forward to hearing from you and we hope you have a good time involving no urination except for your own.
Awesome. Thanks, ladies.
Cool.
Bye.
Thank you. An iconic caller.
Yeah. I think this is going to go down in the history.
I'm going to write who writes the history books? McCormick, or do they do the spices?
They do spices.
Oh, damn it.
Who does this
I don't
history
know.
books?
Those the textbooks.
From like text.
Doesn't it start with an M?
Macmillan?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know. Hold on.
Whoever does those textbooks, I'm gonna write to them and be like, we need this. Or maybe she needs like a special moment of appreciation on Canada Day. I need to write them and be like, hi, I need you to recognize this. She deserves her own international day. And
She
you know
really
how I
does.
feel about those days.
McGraw
McGraw.
Hill.
Wait.
McGraw Hill.
Faith Hill
And Tim McGraw.
They do this? Wait, which McGraw did you say?
I said Tim McGraw.
Oh, that makes more sense. I was
Who were you
saying Phil
thinking of?
McGraw.
Oh.
Dr. Phil. It would make more sense for Faith Hill and Tim McGraw as a duo. Imagine it is them. That's how they've gotten their fortune.
Oh gosh. Anyway, let's take a break. And we're back. We're back.
We're back. This is a shameless time before we get into the calls to remind you, join our Patreon. We do live streams there twice a month. So fun. $5. And you can, I don't want to make it sound like $5 and you can hang out with us, but like $5 and you can have a socially distanced way to like socialize and make friends with people all across the world.
Join their secret text message.
Yeah, they have a whole like text message thing and like we have some people who are like really fantastic singers who like everyone, they like find out when everyone's birthday is and they like will send messages and like plan like virtually things for like, oh, this is so-and-so's birthday and then this and
meetups in London.
Yeah, they hang out with each other and like we are like truly just there and everybody is like so close and it's so sweet. It's really fun. So if you want to join, it also helps us support the show and intentionally. Yeah, it helps us support our other show, but am I wrong? But if $5 a month is too much for you, we also have $1 a month and you can watch the video version. Or if you have incredibly deep pockets.
Not just that, but we have more tiers coming.
Forgot.
Baby girl.
We do have some more tiers coming. And look, you're hearing it. Hopefully you didn't skip over this part. Yeah, we have some more tiers coming. We have some more exciting things to announce on launch on the Patreon. And as always, if you have deeper pockets, if you are related to like a corrupt politician or you got a trust fund from, I don't know, you inherited some money from, you inherited some blood money and you're trying to get rid of it.
Mm-hmm. This is an ethical way to dump it.
Yes. You can change the price tier to however much you want. You want to donate $10 a month? Go for it. Pledge however much you want. We will not tell you no. I'm not going to stop you. Should we get into the calls?
We should.
Also, you should watch the video because Melissa looks so hot today.
All they see is my computer.
Okay, well, can they see the... Yeah. Look at those titties in that necklace.
I've realized how much I like my titties lately.
You have great tits.
And they've just been, I don't know what it is. I think after I got off the birth control, things have just felt like they've been falling back in place the way they should be.
Yeah. No, it's true.
And so, like, I'm getting back into.
Well, also if you have
just
if
titties
you're
out.
getting your cycle back again, you probably are noticing this shift in your boobs, like
Mhm.
size and that
Yep.
stuff, and you're like, I remember this.
Mhm.
It's not fair. You have both tits and an ass.
Well, tits didn't come until 30s. I didn't used to
Oh, so
not have titties.
I have
You have
I have
potential.
some hope.
Yeah.
I actually have like nice titties. They're like not that small. They're like small, but they're like they're there.
Yeah. They've evened out.
One of these is not like the other.
Mhm.
Anyways,
On to the calls.
let's do it.
Hi, Meghan and Melissa. I have a work situation. I don't know if you guys can help, but here's hoping. I am a toddler teacher at a daycare, and I just got a new co-teacher about a month ago. I have tried so hard to get along with her. I'm at my wit's end. She acts like she's in charge, even though she is literally my assistant. It's my classroom. She is my assistant. She has sent messages to parents asking them to bring in things for special art projects without my knowledge. So I look like a complete buffoon when parents are at pickup or drop off and they are asking when they need such and such, like a t-shirt, for example, when they need to bring that in by. And I have no idea what they're talking about. It makes me look like I don't know what's going on in my own room. She says that she's certified, but, quote, her last job lost her certification, which to me sounds like she lied, because you can definitely access it on the state website. But I digress with that. She also has asked a child in my class, reminder, we work with toddlers. This child is not even 2 yet. And she has asked her if they could have a sleepover. Oh, and it's not just any kid, it's the director's kid, my boss's kid, which to me and everyone else who knows about that situation, it is a huge fucking red flag. She's constantly bringing in new toys, like literally every day. Once in a while it's fine, but every single day it feels like she's trying to buy the kids affection, and nothing is ever her fault. Today she didn't put diapers into the parenting app while I was on my break. My director knew that I was on my break when it happened, so she asked me to ask my co-teacher to put them in, and she rolled her eyes and said, it's really not that big of a deal. I have spoken to my director, my assistant director, and they are, quote unquote, looking into everything, but I am literally minutes away from losing my mind with her. What do I do? What do you do when you're stuck in a room with one adult and 9 toddlers and you don't like that adult? Please help. I'm losing my mind. Thank you so much. I love the podcast.
I would hate this.
I would hate this too,
She sounds creepy.
but I think it's going to fix itself.
Yeah, I mean, if I've like I went to like a very hands-on, parents involved, like multiple teacher aides, like really small elementary school and things like that. And I was also not a child who was sheltered from adult conversations about like the interworkings of things. And if I've like learned anything from that, it's like, and obviously like you know more because you're in this space professionally, that there's so many like protocols and like lanes to kind of go through for like this shit that yeah, there's like a lot of like ethical things that like people need to adhere by, especially when it comes to like employment. So then people, because I don't know if you're at an at-will state, like of, isn't that what an at-will when you can like work, you can be fired for, you know what I mean? But so there's a lot of like stipulations with that then you have as an employee, you have a lot more grounds to sue on. And so I could definitely think that like I don't think they're lying about like looking into everything, but if it's a daycare, most daycares aren't funded by, I mean, you might be government funded, but I was going to say, but so if it's not government funded and it's like privately funded and that stuff, then I mean, I don't actually, you're right. I don't think it'll take less time because of that, but
yeah, it'll, when they say they're looking into it, they're actually looking into it. Like Megan said, there's certain steps and things she's gonna have to mess up a few times before they can actually really do something about it. So for you, I would keep a tally or even just notes about everything that she's doing that is undermining you or not in her job description. So like have a little maybe notes app on your phone or a little piece of paper where you write down on whatever the date is, what time it is, and what she did. And just keep this as a running tab. And if, like, in a month this isn't resolved, give it to your director, especially the thing about a sleepover with the director's child.
I hope they know.
Yeah, I hope you told them. But give all that to the director and say, look, this has been happening. Please do something about it. Because if you don't document it, there's not much that can be done.
Yeah, I would honestly, like, and maybe this is bad advice, but she's clearly, like, I agree with you that, like, bringing in like, she's intentionally undermining you, and she's, like, bringing in the toys, like, by their affection, and all of this stuff feels, like, very intentional. So I would also, in my petty ass, I would go out of my way to intentionally annoy her as like the consequence or result of that. So it's like, oh, if you're doing this, I would talk to the director and be like, this has been like really hard. And like, I don't want this to affect like my presence when I'm around the kids. I don't want this, like this tension that's here between us. I think that something that might be helpful is if every week we could have a meeting, all of us together, to go over what went right this week and what went wrong this week and how we can improve. And kind of just like annoying her with the more like nitty gritty teacher, like meeting stuff, annoying things like that, where it's like not just you and her, but it's like, I'm going to bring the director in, and then like showing the director, like, this is probably not something you want to have on, not saying this to them, but like, this is probably not something you want to have on your calendar every single week. Like, this is probably very annoying to you. So like, let's speed up this process. And so I think that, because I agree, like keeping like a documented list of like the times and the dates that everything happens. But the best way, and I think about this in arguments in any relationship, it's always better to bring things up in a smaller time frame with like less things, in the sense that like, that I think can drive the point home. And it's not like, well, I don't even remember that. It's like, well, let's talk about it. Let's unpack what happened here and like what's going on in this sense. Because maybe she's like, this is always my fear in these things. Maybe she's a nepotism hire. Maybe she's someone's like she's knows someone else, and that's how she got this job here. And it's like, you need to get her out. That's the goal ultimately. But is there a way that she can be less annoying and less terrible in the day-to-day of that time? And would that maybe happen if she knows that there's a meeting every single week with you and the director there to kind of give the evidence, show what's happening? And like, if you would think that if she's going to try and keep her job, she would want to show improvement over that time, which I don't think that they're going to necessarily keep her around, but I think that'll help your sanity and also make the environment less hostile and frustrating, because she'll actually hopefully maybe be trying. And if she's not trying at all, I think it'll speed up the process.
Yeah. Also, I don't know what the licensure is for a preschool teacher, but for most things that are state, it's like public information. So usually you can go to, like, if you want to see if your like hairstylist is licensed, you can go to a website and look. So is that, depending on where you are and what the information is, can you just look it up yourself? Is that public information?
Yeah.
Because if you want her out real quick and you don't think that she's licensed, that might be the fastest way.
Yeah. You need like a friend to pose as like a mom at the school and like talk to the director and be like, oh, are all the teachers licensed? Like, oh, I blah, blah, blah. I like looked it up and something. So like, don't actually have someone fake to be a teacher, be a parent there. But yeah, I do also wonder how much your director knows of all of this, because I think sometimes we can feel like, oh, it's just a hunch. I don't know. I don't want to look kind of like stupid. I don't want to look like I'm like crying wolf and like she actually is certified. But I think that, you know, these have been so many red flags over and over and over again that I think like your director should know absolutely everything. And especially the thing about like, hey, it's felt a little suspicious to me, and like you can totally tell me like buzz off. But I was curious, a lot of the stuff that like how she presents in the classroom aren't things that I have like learned in my teaching and has not been my experience. And it feels like a lot of fundamental things that are really against what we learned through our certification. And I had brought up her certification to her, and she mentioned that her old school lost it. And I don't know if it's just me being paranoid, but I'm like really wanting to make sure that and to turn it in the sense of like, I really want to make sure we are protected if something were to happen and a parent presses charges against it, that like we would be individually protected, but then also you as like this organization and this school would be protected, because they wouldn't be if they hired an unlicensed teacher, and kind of use it in that sense, that like looking out for like the team, which I hate the term team when it comes to like employment stuff, but in the looking out for the team in that.
But it's also looking out for the children.
Yeah, but like in this to appeal to whatever the director, whoever is like the in charge here, both sides of that, like the emotional side of it, and then also the fiscal side of like just suggesting you look into that, because I think you're right. If that is something that they find out, that is like an immediate, because it's a huge liability.
Yeah, I just was seeing if you could look it up in California, and you can.
You can?
Yeah, it's on.
Oh, then you probably should in other places, because
yep.
California's, they seal documents like no other.
So check out your education site for your state.
You can anonymously send that to your director as well if you don't want it to be coming from you specifically.
Or I think you can actually just report it directly to the state, and they don't even have to know.
Like SAG. Wow. But I just want to commend you for your patience for this, because this would also drive me up a wall. And this, I'm sure, is like so frustrating, because 9 toddlers and what it feels like you need that second adult, and that adult is not doing what needs to be done and is making your job harder.
Yep.
Okay.
Hi, Melissa and Megan. I'm calling today about questions I have regarding my job and the workforce. Simply put, I'm not sure I'm feeling any passion behind my work anymore. I work at a nonprofit that is based around violence prevention and intervention. More specifically, I work in the violence against women sector, but my job is mainly administrative. And that's okay, I guess. I graduated from college less than 6 months ago, and while I did have some experience in this realm, it was experience that took place during college. I don't feel burnt out by the subject matter of my work. I don't work in the front lines of violence against women prevention, but more in the administrative field. I do feel burnt out by the tasks I've been assigned. I have a lot of talent and expertise that isn't being put to work, and reorganizing Google Drives and setting up meetings for other people isn't bringing passion to my life. I feel fairly confident that I could get promoted within the next 4 to 8 months, and the role I'd be promoted to would do more substantive work. That said, working under a broken government system has me feeling jaded. How am I supposed to make meaningful change when I have to adhere to the opinions of the national government? I kind of want to quit. I would rather go into a different field entirely, one that isn't in the social justice realm. I hate capitalism and would rather keep my activism to my personal life, where I don't have to adhere to my organization or the government's opinions. There are so many pros to my job. They furnished me with some really great equipment, including a desk and a chair. My boss and my coworkers are awesome. PTO is pretty good for a starter position. The pay is good for the field I'm in, although my boyfriend makes roughly twice as much as me and entered the workforce at about the same time. He is in a different field, though. I just don't feel like I'm built for this type of job. I want to be able to have a flexible schedule. I want to be excited to start the day every morning. I want to be paid more. I want to do a job I think is fun, not just a job that I think is important. If you were to ask me what I really want to do, I'd say be a stay-at-home mom, even though I don't have kids, grow my own food, be a travel agent, be an event planner, or own a bookstore. I know that this is a wide range of jobs, but I think some things they have in common is that they play to my interests, have me managing myself for the most part, and have a more flexible work schedule. I don't feel settled on quitting, and at the moment, it makes me feel wary. I've only been in this position for 4 months, and I worry I'm a chronic quitter who'd leave this position before I saw it through to all it could be. What are your thoughts on all of this? Should I stick it out? How soon is too soon to leave? If it helps to know, I'm a Virgo. Thank you guys for all your help.
You want to live a Nancy Meyers movie, which is everyone's dream. I think that there is a happy medium in this. Like, I don't think that everyone has to work in social justice. I would be curious if, like, seems like that's what you went to school for, and it is like a very taxing job, and not everybody is cut out for it. And I think the biggest tell of someone who's not cut out for it is like if you end up doing more harm than good, and you're losing yourself, and you're not making meaningful change. I do feel like it's a really huge pivot from like working in, I think the admin stuff, I totally understand feeling like you're not being utilized. And I also don't want to say like, if you quit this job, that doesn't mean that this company is going to go under and that nobody else is going to like have that job and work towards this. And it's not like the weight of the country is resting individually on your shoulders, but it does feel like a really huge pivot to then, used to refer to these as like save the world kind of jobs, like really cause driven, to then something that is like, I don't want to say not a real job, but kind of like a movie job that's like a fantasy that doesn't exist. And it just is, I would be curious what that huge pivot has been.
For me, you sound like someone that just graduated from college. Like, things aren't what you expected them to be, but like you just graduated. Like, you haven't been in you've been in the work field, but not as a college graduate, real world, like everything comes down to you. You haven't even been there 6 months. So if you know for sure that whatever the, like, let's say you get promoted twice within the next 3 years, which I don't know. I don't know the exact field that you're working in, but that seems pretty reasonable. Like, in the next 3 years, that job that you would get in the next 3 years, is that what you really want to do? Or is it just because right now you're doing the admin assistant work that everybody has to do when they first break into most businesses?
Yeah, like every
like it's
business.
anything that you go do, you're going to have to start out doing the groundwork, because what you may not realize right now is that what you learn while you're doing that stuff that you hate is the foundation that everything else builds upon. And you have to have that foundation in order to get to the next step. You have to know how to do everything if you want to be like, let's say you want to be like the CEO one day. You need to know how to do that basic stuff. And so if that job, like that, your 3-year goal, your 5-year goal is not, you don't see yourself doing this job at all, then yeah, get out. If you don't see yourself growing in this job, get out. But like, if it's just that you're not doing that 3-year job yet, just because you just started and you're doing the more admin type work, you have to build up to get there.
Yeah, you didn't describe a job either that you want. Like,
right. That's what I'm saying. You have to know, like, what you described, a lot of different hobbies that could be jobs, but like, to get what you want, you need to figure out like exactly what it is that you want to do. So like, you know, if you you want to be a stay-at-home mom, great. Marry somebody, like make it that your goal to marry somebody.
And
like,
there's a difference between like being a stay-at-home mom is a goal. It's not it's an aspiration. It's not a career aspiration. Yeah. So like you have to, if that's what you want to do, then it's, yeah, you need to spend time like dating people who come from a lot of money and intentionally, which I don't think there's anything wrong with not wanting to have a job and then intentionally dating people who also would like to have a partner who is staying at home and can be supported that way. And then you in turn can support the family. But you still have to have a job in the interim. And like, if this is not, you're talking so much about like passion. So what's the job that you have before you become the stay-at-home mom? Like, is it saving as much money as possible? Is it like trying to get into a place that saves money? But like, I think you're conflating like life goals and aspirations with career goals and aspirations. And like you say, you don't like, I don't mean to like come at you, but like you say that you really like don't like capitalism, but like you are describing that you like want, again, like you want to live a Nancy Meyers movie. You want to like grow food for your family and be a stay-at-home mom and own like a bookstore. And that is like, do you have a trust fund? Because like, if you don't, it's not like a real.
If you want to own a bookstore, then go work at a bookstore and then figure out.
Start like you said, though.
Yeah, you have to still start at the bottom. So you need to figure out how that bookstore runs the business. Like, it can't just be like you're going there to be a cashier. No, you need to learn the business in and out. You need to know how to run a business. So like you said, you have these aspirations, but like, what's the action plan that you're going to do in order to achieve it?
Yeah, and how are they related to like your career? Because like you're
Mhm.
saying that you want more free time and you want more flexibility and you also want more pay, and those things don't go hand in hand, especially if you like want to own your own business, like
Mhm.
starting a bookstore. That's a huge amount of overhead and costs,
Right.
and most local like mom and pop bookstores are not incredibly profitable. They're
Mhm.
like hardly making ends meet, and most of the time the reasons why they're staying around is they are
They've been
they've been like
a pillar of the community for a while. So unless you're going to go work for somebody that doesn't have anybody that wants to inherit their bookstore in 30 years, then like you got to get in with them now and learn the business.
yeah, a lot of that like brick and mortar kind of stuff, like you're gonna have to like write for grants to like
Mhm.
keep things like alive there. And then also you are gonna then if you're gonna have employees, your schedule isn't necessarily flexible, and like
Right.
you might not be the best boss if like your goal is to make like a large profit, because those things inherently aren't really making a large overhead, and then you're going to be taking money from the employees, and then you're also going to have be taking more free time. And
Mhm.
the admin stuff, like I agree, this of course you feel like these are not your best use of like your skills. This is not the best use of anybody's skills, but it
But the
doesn't mean that it's not useful and this isn't
and
helpful.
it doesn't feed into the bigger picture.
Yeah, even just observing and like
Mhm.
understanding and like being there, like if you think about it in like the confidence that you have, like if you immediately were given like a really high powered, high level position, the imposter syndrome that comes like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like
Right.
this is like you're getting your footing, you're understanding all of this. And like there are some industries where I think that they keep you at this stage. Agencies are an example. They keep you at the like, you better work for this, like grind out. You are an assistant, you are the lowest level of the low for so long that it becomes like hazing. But you even saying like, how long had been the position for like,
Like 4 months, I think.
yeah, and then you think you'll get a position, you'll get a promotion in that's for your first job is a very quick turnaround.
Mhm.
And like, again, I don't think that if you think that this industry is not your calling for you, I cannot stress enough, if you are in like a social justice job, if you do not like your job and you are then creating a negative environment for the people that you are working with, or it is like backfiring, it is counterproductive, don't do it. Like
Right.
just don't. It takes a lot to be able to do this. It takes a specific kind of person, and doing this job half-assed does more harm than good.
Mhm.
But I think that you probably feel like a little bit lied to a bit about like how jobs are in like TV shows and movies and stuff, that like a lot of it is like admin busy work. And do you feel like you want to be more in the front lines of these things? Like, is that something that you want to do? But like Melissa said, no matter where you go and what direction you take, what career, what category, what field, you're going to start at the bottom.
Mhm.
And like, it's just how it is. And I'm sure it's probably frustrating for your boyfriend because it's a different bottom like area. And maybe it's something that is related to his college major or things that you don't like, that is not part of your history and your education. And that stuff sucks. And I think that people working in activism, especially in this specific field, should be highly compensated for it. It's not always the case, but I think if your goal is flexibility, free time, and like money, you're gonna have to like capitalism a little more.
Yeah. Yeah. And I would say like me working in the industry that I do now, I started out, I did internships for, I mean, they're now illegal, but I was doing a lot of internships for free while I was at UCLA. When I was done at school at UCLA, then I did admin work for a reality production company. Then I was an assistant to a producer director. Then I moved up to associate producer. And then like there's just steps you have to take to get to the next level. And it's not, the pay was nothing. Like I didn't get paid for any internships. I got paid minimum wage when I was working the desk at a production company. Like the pay is nothing. And then with time and experience, education doesn't matter. It like
Mhm.
you will get to where, I mean, a lot of people don't get to financially where they want to be, but you'll get to more money, but like you just graduated. I don't know how much like
Yeah.
how much more I can say, but you just graduated in this field.
Yeah. And the last thing I'll say is like, I'm sure there's some books that could like be helpful on this, or like maybe even like a callback to discuss this, because like I just don't think that you have a like, and this is not supposed to be mean, but like I just don't think you have like a great grasp on all of these different like adjectives and things that you want, and then the practicality of them, because you keep saying like I want something I'm really passionate about. When like I'm waking up every day and I'm so excited to do that, those aren't the jobs that make a lot of money. And those aren't the jobs that make a lot of money like right off the bat. And like everything that you're describing is.
As a podcast network, our first priority has always been audio and the stories we're able to share with you. But at Realm, we also sell some pretty cool merch, and organizing that was made both possible and easy with Shopify. When you think about successful businesses like Aloe or Allbirds or Skims, an often overlooked secret is the business behind the business that makes selling and, for shoppers, buying simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify. That's because nobody does selling better than Shopify. It's the home of the #1 checkout on the planet. And the not-so-secret secret that's definitely worth talking about is that Shop Pay boosts conversions up to 50%. That's more happy customers and way more sales going. If you're hoping to grow your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling, on the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more, sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout we use with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/realm, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/realm to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/realm.
Everybody's like ideal situation, an ideal job. And I don't know if you think that it exists and like everyone's just not telling you about it, but like it doesn't exist. Like it just doesn't. Like you can be someone who works to live and then someone who lives to work. And the flexibility and free time and passion is you live to work. Work to live is flexibility and free time. And that's also having PTO. And that's also having insurance paid for by your company and stability and like financial stability and not putting the risk. But like the passion, live to work. I want something that every single day I wake up and I'm so excited about and drives me forward and is a great, that is not aligned with the financially really stable and successful thing. But then you also say that you really hate capitalism. So like, do you envision yourself as a stay-at-home mom? Like, can you make a timeline for these aspirations of like, I want to be a stay-at-home mom and I want to have a garden at the house. I want to be able to own a home. Like I want these life goals. And so what are the things in my life that I can do now to take the steps to get there? And then what is my career in the interim? And then that's not going to be the work to live, so passionate about that, because I just don't think that there is a crossover in a non-scripted, like non-movie starring Diane Keaton that like, yeah, I talk about all the time, like how much I would like love to live in Maine and like have a bakery and like Mott's would own a bookstore and it would be amazing and wonderful. But
you're also if you're having a bakery, you're waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning and working your ass off.
Yeah. And it's something that like, that is like a really wonderful fantasy. And we can all have those, like when Mott's and I talk about like our retirement dreams, like that would be like a wonderful like retirement dream. But I also am a work to live person and I love my job. And I wouldn't ever like if I had the opportunity to like walk up and leave and do that today, I would need a massive amount of money to do that. I still wouldn't, because it wouldn't fulfill that career part of me. So I wonder if you can like take yourself out of the post-grad, like talking about work all of the time kind of thing. And like, do you really care about work this much? Like, or do you feel like you need to be passionate about your job because you're surrounded by people, because you're going to usually find that in nonprofit work, you're surrounded by people who are really passionate about their jobs. And so do you feel like you need to be passionate about your career in general? Because you don't have to be. Not everyone is. But I think right now you've created a non-existent, unattainable thing. And I think it's just telling me that like you aren't entirely sure what you want. And that's like the first step to figure that out. Because if you think that you're a chronic quitter, you probably are. And I say that from a chronic quitter. Like, I quit fucking, if I'm not immediately good at something, I'm out. Like, I'm not participating. I'm not even gonna middle school. I'm not even gonna pretend to run the mile because no, I won't even participate if I think I'm not gonna be good.
Yeah. And I was a chronic quitter too. But now like I'm working in a field where I can wear 50 different hats and no day is the same.
Yeah.
And if I want to change something today, then I can change it. But I had to do the groundwork to get here.
You can have anything you want, but you can't have everything you want, especially at this timeline.
Yeah.
So I hope that wasn't too harsh, but I think in general, the advice that Mats has always given friends and people, I don't work in this thing, is that his thing, because you asked if it's too soon to quit. Mats has always said that like he's like a year everywhere, like after a year, but a year is what you want on resumes and stuff. And if it's abusive and horrible and horrific, like, yes, leave. Don't stick it out for a year in those places. But for most places, you get your footing, you understand, and you learn a lot more. And you can actually use that as a stepping stone after a year. But earlier than that, people have more questions.
Yeah. And Mats has like a great work ethic.
Oh,
and
he's
like
Capricorn.
Like, I really admire him from afar, just because like Mats and I were assistants at the same time, and just seeing how much he has grown and then the way that he handles business, I really admire.
You should. That's his wet dream. If you tell him that, he will love that.
I think I have told him at some point.
Yeah, he's really, really great at that like stuff. And he's way too hard on himself because he's just, his entire chart is all Capricorn. Who you are and like how you view yourself and your relationship to like work will also change over the years. You just have to let it.
And I was like, same thing with like writing and stuff. Like, that was my main goal. But then I learned that like I like money, and so like I needed something else to do in addition to writing. So like I figured out other things. Like, I taught myself how to edit. And then like on one job that increased my pay by like $500. So like you just have to have I have my big picture goal, but there's
how you
other
get there.
things. Yeah, there's other things that are there to support me.
Yeah, and if you feel like you haven't seen other people do that, just know there's nepotism in every industry, and it's money. Like, if you even look in like our world and like writers and stuff, you will notice a lot of writers who come from like very well-off families, and then you'll notice a lot of writers who are in their 40s, and it's like, oh, because you had a whole career. Or like, I know a writer who was writing, like, love her so much, she was writing what she acknowledged were shitty projects because she needed to make the money and get the credits and work the same way. Like, think of it like admin jobs in the other realm of like just a different category, in order to make the thing that she was passionate about. And she didn't make that until she was like well into like her 30s, maybe even early 40s. It's just what it is. And I think you probably feel like you're on a race compared to your peers. But
and
if
your boyfriend who's making twice as much as you, but like, is he in engineering? Like,
yeah,
it's a different field. You can't compare yourself to him.
Yeah. And if you do see the people, like you're describing to me like an Instagram mommy blogger, and like unfollow those people and just know that those people have come from money. This is not how they made their money. Hope that wasn't too harsh.
All right, let's take a break.
Woo! We're back. On to the rest.
Hi, Meghan and Melisa. This is about me, 23 female, she, her, and my friend, 25 female, she, her. We'll call her Liz. I'm calling about two things. Number one, putting up boundaries between Liz and me. And two, our friend group does not want to be friends with Liz. Let's start with number one. Liz has struggled with chronic and mental illness within the last few years, but recently she has been struggling on doing anything on her own. She lives with me and my boyfriend. She has guilted me into doing stuff for her, such as cooking, cleaning her bathroom, driving her around town, and helping her with her mental illness. In recent weeks, Liz has interrupted my family events and life when she is alone. She also does this with our friend group. In any situation where she's alone, she will call a friend to talk to, or she will try and guilt them into having them come over to sit with her. For Father's Day, when I was staying with my parents at their house, she asked me to drive back from my parents' house to the apartment to sit with her while she had a panic attack. When I told her no, she tried to call another friend to do the same thing. For 4th of July, she asked 2 friends to come over and sit with her because she had a sharp pain. She thought it would be appendicitis or an ovarian cyst rupture. She then called me to take her to the ER while I was with friends but had been drinking and was 30 minutes away. The hospital is 5 minutes away from our apartment, and I told her that if it was an emergency, she needed to call an ambulance or an Uber to take her because it would be 2 hours before we could do anything. She decided to wait. If you think I was being harsh, Liz has a tendency to dramatize her pain and situations to gain attention. Later that day when I came home, she was completely fine. Liz will also come into my room or text me so that she can be with me while she has a panic attack or is feeling ill. I don't know how to set up boundaries, so when I don't want to be around her, I hide in my room, but clearly she doesn't get the hint. Which leads to number 2. Our friend group does not want to be friends with her because she cannot function on her own, and when we hang out, all she talks about is from when we were in high school, talks about her being sick or something sad, or brings down the mood of the conversation. I learned recently that the friend group has only been friends with her because they thought that I was friends with her and didn't want to lose me from the group if they pushed her out. We feel drained by all the support she is forcing us to give, as well as feel drained from trying to make her feel good when she cannot help herself or is alone. She is in therapy, but we are not sure if she is being truthful to her therapist about situations or telling the full scope of what she is doing. She also has a tendency to say that she has something but has not been diagnosed with it. For example, endometriosis, had surgery, and found out she did not have it, and autism. This even prevented one of our friends from telling us a big medical situation in fear that she would turn the conversation on her. What is some advice you guys have for us and me to put up boundaries, as well as somehow getting her out of the friend group? Keep in mind, she lives with me and our lease isn't done until March next year. I'm running out of time. I love you guys. Hopefully I can call back soon. Bye.
Okay. As someone, just need to do a little quick clarification here. I think it's really, really, really important how you and your friends talk about this, because I can tell you're getting jaded, and I think it's imperative that you cut her out of your circle immediately, because how you are now probably going to perceive chronically ill and mentally ill people has shifted. And just want to make sure that when you talk about this, that like you can have massive issues with her that can be related to this, but like to not make broad statements. So as a specific one, endometriosis surgery, a lot of people go into surgery and in their first surgery don't find anything. And that doesn't mean that they don't 100% have it, can have a second surgery, all of that. So I am not doubting that this has been really difficult. And she sounds like people in the chronic illness community who are like, this is what makes the Rose McGowan of the feminist movement, of what makes people doubt other people. McGowan. Mm-hmm. I think that this has kind of gone on for a little bit too long, and how you are speaking about it is not necessarily aware of how it will be perceived by other people who've experienced similar things to her that haven't whose responses to their life have not been the same. I mean, my biggest question is, what's her relationship like with her family? Like, is my biggest one, because this, like, you can't help people who don't want to like help themselves. And this is a lot of undertaking. Like, I don't love to like, being alone's not my favorite thing in like certain circumstances or contexts. Like, I'd always rather be with someone, but I'd also rather be like quiet with someone, not necessarily, I don't need someone to entertain me. Like, I love sitting in a room quietly with someone doing like both of us doing our same things and like not speaking. But I think you're probably onto something, that she's not being incredibly truthful with like her therapist. But also sometimes therapists, like, they don't necessarily intervene if they think that you're lying, or they think that you're like not representing the truth explicitly. Like, a lot of therapists play it as like the long game of like understanding you more to then kind of offer some insight to.
What's up, everyone? It's Noah Daniels.
Hey, y'all. I'm JJ.
Hey, guys. It's Kat.
And we're your hosts of the Real Hauntings podcast, where we bring on guests who share their first-hand encounter ghost stories and supernatural experiences. Now on to the trailer.
I've been warned to not tell this story, but I think because of the way it ends, it's okay to tell this story, because some people say that with certain entities, to like speak of them or talk about them or in any way like portray them as powerful will attract them to other people. The creepiest thing about it to me is a lot of times it would wait for me to notice it. Like, it would just lay its arm out like this, and then I'd be like, where is it? And then I'd see it, and then it would just slither back.
For more information on the Real Hauntings, Real Ghost Stories podcast, make sure you check out real.fm to learn more about our podcast and many other amazing podcasts.
Hope that you change for yourself, but I don't know, it doesn't sound like she wants to do that. And I think if she needs like full-time cooking and cleaning and things being like done for her, and you're not offering, and this is like an indefinite thing, then I think that she needs to pursue more intensive like treatment where she is paying for people to perform that service for her. And that's not what like friends are for or what friends are about. But yeah, like, I don't know. I think we've all probably at some point in our life been the person who like is not doing great mentally. And so like we're bringing down the mood. You know, I definitely felt personally attacked with like that line, but I don't resonate with her. But I want to make sure like listeners, when you hear this, if you've been the depressed friend who's like concerned about bringing down the mood, I just want to make sure that we note that this is like an isolated specific incident and it's not about dealing with chronic illness or dealing with mental illness. And like anyone else, you are not a burden on your friends. This specific friendship has not been reciprocated and like appreciated. And it's been a lot of expecting and demanding things without being considerate or like letting people offer to help. And you should ask when you need help. But at a certain point, if you need so much help that it becomes a full-time job for your friends, then you actually need to pay someone and you need to hire someone because that is not their full-time job.
Right.
I don't know. I mean, I think if you don't think that if this has been going on for a long time and if you've had conversations with her about this, like, have you had like, hey, this is a lot that you're asking us to do. And like, we care about you and I want what's like best for you, but I can't meet these needs that you have of me. And like, that makes me feel like I'm failing as like a person and a friend. And I don't want that. I want you to be supported and get the help and the assistance that you need. But I can't be that for you. And I need our relationship to shift dramatically. And if it can't shift dramatically, like with like love and best wishes, like I'm going to need to separate myself from this relationship. And that needs to be an individual conversation you have. I'm kind of like, normally I'm the person I'm like one time and I'm done. Like I'm not going to go over and over again. But I think if you are concerned, you didn't specify mental illness aspects. If you are concerned for her like well-being, I would find out the contact information of her therapist or like someone you can call ahead of time if she's getting close to family and be like, hey, I'm going to have a conversation with her and where I'm going to set some clear boundaries. Like she lives here with us. So like will be around and you will see like, you know, but I want to make sure that like for myself, I need to set up these boundaries. So if something happens, I'm calling you.
Yeah, that was actually going to be my thing was like, maybe have this conversation, like tell the therapist what's going on, not in a way to like undermine your roommate, but like in a way that's like, I don't know what to do anymore. And I can't be that person that's there to be the one that she leans on because I have my own life to live and like I'm concerned about her well-being, but that's not my job, you know? And so, and I hate the word intervention and like doing interventions and stuff. And I hate like the connotation around it. But like, if this is something that you don't feel like you're strong enough to do, or like you don't think it's getting through, but you still want the best for her, then I think that's the way that you have to do it.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good call. Like either like asking her, being like, hey, do you think that we could set up like a joint therapy session with your therapist? Like I have some things I would want to talk to you about and I think it would be a lot easier to do that way. And I would feel like more comfortable doing that. You know her better. Or if you have access to find the therapist number, give the therapist a call and be like, could you bring that up to her? I really want to do this, but it can't come from me. Would it be possible for you to suggest that to her? And there's some relationship therapists, but most therapists are pretty good. And so I don't think they would be shocked. She might be lying to her therapist, but I think her therapist probably knows that. As regards to the friend group, though, I think like not to be a cunt, but like you are her roommate. And so you have to deal with all of this more. They can do whatever the fuck they want to do.
And I feel like because they only seem to be friends with, they're not even friends. They only seem to be acquainted with her through you, that once you set your absolute boundaries, then the rest will naturally fall away. But don't talk about her behind her back, because
No.
it just makes things worse, and everybody starts ruminating and starts feeding off of each other, and then things just get to be a bigger deal than they actually are.
Yeah. If any of you are in the chronic illness community, this doesn't like apply, but like if there are some of you who are like don't deal with mental health problems and like don't deal with chronic illness, but even if you do, like everyone deals with it differently, to like go out of your way to like read subreddits and like kind of like detox yourself from her relationship to these like very like real issues and things that people deal with. So she's no longer your number one connotation with that, because like again, that stuff like sticks with you. If you think about it, just like names, like when you date one bad guy with a J name, like that sticks with you every person you meet. And that's superficial. But like when it comes to like mental and physical health, ableism is built into us and built into our society and our community. And you need to actively unlearn that, especially because you have a catalyst who is essentially like the worst version of what this community, quote unquote, can represent.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think if you can all spend time learning more about various people and their different stories and all of that, and not just either going off of her one experience, or maybe you have your own personal experience, but like really taking in the experiences of a lot of different people. So this isn't something that sticks with you, because I think the fact that the friend said that she wasn't going to talk about her medical things, that might sound to the rest of the group like wild, but I promise you might start to feel that in your own life if medical things come up, and you also might start to doubt yourself and not take yourself to the doctor, and not only like not share these things with your friends, but like you might start to believe that you're not being truthful with yourself. So, but yeah, this is hard. The last thing I will say is, in no way in hell should the entire group ever sit down and talk to her about this. And like Melissa said, like issue like an ending, like we're never talking about her again behind her. Like we're not, like this is done. This is a clean break. If she's not ready to help herself, then that's on her. But I think then maybe it's about asking your landlord if you can put a lock on your bedroom door.
And you usually don't have to ask if you just do it and then take it off.
Oh, yeah. And having that happen, and then like if it's a matter of communication of like, here are my schedule, these are the hours I will be home, I'm not going to be answering my phone. If there's an emergency, here's like emergency contact list, like 911, here's poison control, here's all of these things here. And that sucks. And it feels like, yeah, you're mommying someone, and like you're acting like the parents leaving their kids with a babysitter. But I think if you can do a lot of, not to bring it back to admin work like the other call, but if you can do like all of that stuff, leave all of those things on the wall and give those resources, but you yourself are not a 24-hour resource. But this is hard. I also incredibly draining. So.
All right, next call.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Hi, Meghan and Melissa. This one's a crazy one, so buckle in. Oh my gosh. So, we're just going to get straight to the point. I am a 19-year-old female, she, her, and I grew up from about 7th grade until about 2 years ago with the same best friend. For the sake of this call, we're going to call her Brittany. So, me and Brittany became best friends towards the end of 7th grade, and we were inseparable until about 2 years ago when we kind of just stopped hanging out. She moved to a different state with her boyfriend, started school, so we kind of just stopped hanging out, but we still talk every single day. We have like the longest snap streak. It's like 500 days or something like that, so we still talk every single day, keep in touch, whatever. Me and Brittany, we're cool. Anyways, so I grew up going over to Brittany's house, obviously, right? Because she was my best friend. And so for the sake of this call, we're going to call her dad Brian. So Brian is her dad. He's a single dad. He lived alone, and Brittany actually lived with her mom full time, but she would stay with her dad occasionally. Her mom and dad lived like literally a street away from each other. So we used to actually walk back and forth. I know Mr. Brian very, very well. Like, I stayed the night at his house from for like 4 to 5 years. And I was around him all the time and really looked up to him and respected him. He was a firefighter and a war veteran. And so I just looked up to him as a father figure and whatnot. And I haven't spoken to him since the last time I hung out with Brittany. So it's been a very long time since we've actually spoke. Tell me why he was messaging me on Facebook, ladies. He is literally messaging me on Facebook and trying to hook up with me for money. He's trying to pay me $200 to hook up with him. And I told him, you need to respect me as a young woman that you watched grow up. This is completely inappropriate. He is asking me to keep this between us, but should I tell his daughter? Should I tell Brittany that her dad is trying to pay me for sex? I don't know if I should tell her or not. What would I gain from tearing their family apart? But I don't know. Does his family need to know? Please, guys, let me know what to do. I can take it rough. Give it to me rough if you have to. I don't know. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.
Don't tell him, give it to me rough.
Stop. I could not. The fact that she just have give it to me rough, I was like, I can't. My brain is not in the right place for that. You just said $200 for sex. First of all, offensively lowballed.
Offensively lowballed. And I just want to say here that we are pro sex workers here, but like not pro creeps. And
also,
this is
soliciting someone who's not a sex worker.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. He solicited you, and like that's a solicitation that's in writing. I wouldn't say anything to her because like I feel like it's gonna ruin your friendship that you want to have. I would just
ruin
report
that
it.
snap streak.
I would just report it to the police because he solicited you and it's in writing, and I would just take it straight to the police.
Yeah, I would actually here's the thing. I hate the police, but you know who hates the police more? Firefighters.
Oh yeah, that too.
So you might actually get something done there, not because they care about the like well-being, but because they have a massive feud with firefighters as a whole usually.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I agree. I would report it. I think if you report it, which I think you should do, and I think you should tell her, and I think that you should do both because reporting this is important because this is like really pervy and really gross. And I don't know, it's highly unlikely that you are the only person that this has happened to with him or the last person. And it's just really predatory. You are only 19. And that's like you're like 1 year like bonus from being like, this was like really like illegal and creepy. And you also haven't talked to him in a really long time. So it feels like this thing that's like
festering him, and he's been waiting till you turn.
And it seems like he waited 19 to be like, I'm better than just 18. So it's less of a red flag. But to me, I'm like, oh, you've been consciously thinking about this longer. So that feels more with the intent. But she will find out if you report it.
But it won't necessarily seem like it came from her.
Not necessarily, but you are 19. So it is not completely anonymous and like fully sealed. So there's just like less legal protection from making this be like completely anonymous. It's really hard. And I don't want this to deter you, but like it is really hard to make anonymous claims. I mean, it's not hard to make anonymous claims. It's hard for anything to come from anonymous claims because they need evidence and they need proof. And even if it happens when you're a minor, a lot of times they're not totally sealed, especially when you get older. So I think that you should report it first. And then I think you should give her a heads up and let her know. And it's like, I don't know if anything is going to come from this, or even ask her like, and like, sure, this sucks, is putting a lot on her, but being like, hey, there's like something that has happened. I felt the need to report. And the reason why you have to do it in this order is because otherwise, if you haven't reported, she could potentially let him know ahead of time and recon anything. There's something that happened there's something that is by proxy pertains to you that directly pertains to me that I have like reported this. And I really want to be honest with you and tell you what it is, but it's like a pretty heavy thing. What I can tell you this right now. I don't have to tell you this at all, but I need you to know it's probably going to come out at some point. And would you rather it come out from me? And like, yeah, that puts a lot on her because like, she's not going to say no to that. But I think that like, I personally like when heavy things like that are like presented in a way that it's like, hey, I have something. I don't want like the, hey, we need to talk conversation, but like when people have been like, hey, I have something like pretty big that's happened in my life that is not necessarily a great thing that I need to share with you. Can we set a time when you have the capacity to do that? And that's like, sure, that is like oh shit, this is like an anxiety inducing thing. But I much prefer that to someone like cold calling me and telling me something like really horrific and then I am supposed to move on with my day and I have so many other things to do that I'm like, I actually don't have the time allotted to do this. I don't know. I think that like it just would depend on, do you think that you would rather her hear this from you or not from you? Like, would you feel worse if she knew that you withheld this information from her? Or would she feel worse that you offered this information that she didn't?
With something like 5 million podcasts, finding a really good one can take a ton of time. So let me recommend one. It's called Something You Should Know. I'm the host, Mike Carruthers, and in each episode, we discuss topics that can be really helpful, like how to read people better, the psychology of crowds, or fun things like the story of Legos, or why you probably wouldn't be here if it weren't for horses. Something You Should Know is the name of it, wherever you get your podcasts.
Necessarily want to hear.
Yeah, I don't think that you're the only person that he sent that to, because that's a real bold message. Not just like, I want to sleep with you, but I'll pay you $200, which low again. But like, he's done this before.
Yeah.
And I think that once you report it, it will open up, if they do their jobs, which it's the police. So then they'll find more things on Facebook, that more messages that he sent other people.
Yeah. I just think it matters. Like, what would you want in this situation? Personally, I would want to know. Like, I would want to know if this was anybody in my life, regardless of my relationship with them, me knowing about their actions would not have torn a family apart or ruined my relationship. Their actions would have ruined a relationship. And I want to know the kind of relationship, again, any whatever, platonic, familial, romantic. I want to know what I am signing up for. And I want to know the kind of relationship that, like, I want to know this person. And I want to know, and like, withholding that information from me personally would not do me any favors, because I'm having a relationship with someone who's done this to my childhood best friend. And if I knew that, that would change my relationship with that person. And I want that agency. Like, I want to make that choice for myself. I don't want someone to make other choices for me to like protect my relationships, because yeah, my relationships will change. That's not because I know about this information. It's because it happened. And I also think that, like, again, this is really pervy. I think that even if it like makes her upset or she like doesn't talk to you for a while, I think it is something that I highly doubt this will be completely out of left field. And I also think it's something that, like, if she has kids and brings her kids around her dad and their friends and all of that, I just think it's something that I personally, if it was me in her position, there is no instance, no circumstance where I would not want to know. Even if it might, my reaction might not be great, even if that like potentially might change the relationship or the friendship. I personally would never be mad at the person who's like telling me this at all. I'm also older, so that does change that. But I would feel really like stripped of my agency if I didn't know this had happened. And again, like, nothing that you will do will tear a family apart. Like, it's his actions. And like Melissa said, this is definitely not the first or the last time. You might not even be the first person who's reached out to tell that this has happened. And I always think it's better to plant the seed to prevent more harm from being done than just hope that it's a one-off instance, when statistically it's just not. And you seem like you're in a position, in a place where like you would feel comfortable and safe telling her that. And so many times, which there's nothing wrong with, a lot of people who deal with any kind of like, whether it's like solicitation or sexual harassment, sexual assault, aren't in positions where they feel comfortable and safe to do so. So I think if you do feel that, like, listen to that part of you.
Yeah.
This is disgusting.
Yeah.
And screenshot absolutely everything, and screen record everything. And when you screen record, scroll through the messages, screen record all of them, click on like his profile.
Show yourself logging in, so then they know that it's not, doctored in any way.
Yep. And show go click to his profile from there. Make sure you're clicking so you can see that it's your profile. all of that and the time, date stamps, everything.
Yeah. All right. Time for Don't Blame Them.
Woo!
Hi, Meghan and Melisa. I'm 21 years old and I'm calling for Don't Blame Them for the latest episode titled Boyfriend Feels Entitled to My Body. And this call is for the caller who the title is based on. Caller, I will start by saying that I have been in your position. I was in high school with my first boyfriend, so I was much younger than you are right now, but he would do the same things that your boyfriend is doing. I was with him for almost 2 years, and I am now 5 years out of that relationship and have had the opportunity to reflect a lot on it. My advice to you is to listen to Meghan and Melisa. In my situation, I even communicated to my ex the way his actions were making me feel various times, and things would change for a week or two, but eventually he will keep doing the same things and get mad whenever I pointed it out. So communicating how you're feeling is not going to change anything. You already know that what he is doing is not okay. And you say that it overwhelms you and annoys you. You're a human being, not a sexual object. And if your partner cannot comprehend and respect that, you need to get out. I know that ending the relationship will probably be very hard since it is a 3-year relationship, but most probably your mental health will be 100 times better. Like Meghan and Melisa said, what he is feeling is abuse, and you are in a safe position. Anyone, no matter whether if they are your partner or not, if you're in a serious relationship, married, etc., anyone should respect you saying no and honor that. No one should get mad at you for saying no to a sexual action because it is your body and your experience, and you get to decide what you want to do or not. If they do get mad, they are in the wrong. It is one of the biggest red flags that can exist. Callers know that Meghan, Melisa, and I'm sure that many other listeners have your back. You are strong and brave. I hope you're safe and that this call helps you and maybe provides you some reassurance. But please, dump him.
Wow, that was beautiful.
It was.
A lot of messages about this
We had
call.
a lot of people that called in too.
Yeah, so original caller, just know you have thousands of people who are literally here being like, we ride at dawn.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let's take her out of here. We got this. Like, get her out. So, yeah, I hope that's validating. And also a lot of people who've have also experienced this. It's a incredibly common thing. So I hope you're safe and comfortable in making the choices that are protecting like you and your body and your well-being.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Everybody is supporting you.
We're all with you. We're all with you.
That is it for our episode. Wow. What a
day.
What a literal long ass day, because Melissa and I just sat here for hours before we ever
Well,
did
we
any work.
we were working, but just not on the podcast stuff.
Yes. Not
something
audio
work. It was other things.
Yeah, I forgot we did. Oh,
yeah.
You're right. We did work.
Yeah,
we did.
Things that could be good for our future, maybe.
Maybe. So we hope you enjoyed. If you did, leave us a review on the podcast app. You can also leave reviews on Spotify now. We also love an updated review when you're like, oh, I left this review years ago and let me give a little updated one. We absolutely love that. Makes us so happy. Also helps us, with ads, sponsors. So give the show the love that we deserve.
Please. Yeah, we don't have any reviews. So
see, and you could be featured on an episode. We get to read it. Come on.
I know how many people listen to this show, and I know how many people left reviews, and it's not even close.
I can't do math, but I know that is not, those numbers are not the same. So if you are listening this far, head on over to our Instagram and comment.
If you work in a professional field, how many years did it take you to get to where you actually wanted to be?
That's a good one. Some reality. Let it set in. Sink in. If you want to call for an upcoming episode, leave us a voicemail at 310-694-0976. International listeners, meghanpodcast@gmail.com. Send us a voice memo, voice message, voice recording. And everything I said at the top of the episode still applies for the requirements for that. And check out the Patreon. Follow us on socials. We are actually posting on TikTok now. Again.
Yeah.
I have my Adderall, okay? So I will be posting more this week.
Okay. I'm
Melissa
just saying,
did all the fucking work.
I
She
made
said-
4 videos.
No,
I didn't cut But Am I Wrong from last week because I was like, I'll wait to see if she's gonna post.
Yeah,
the rest.
Melissa did acknowledge it. She goes, I noticed you didn't respond to my text messages, so I just like stopped. I didn't want to overwhelm you, so I was like, that is exactly what you should have done. Perfect.
That's how you support friends.
I appreciate it.
Women supporting women.
Oh, that's what we're here for. Like,
our name is
subscribe.
different.
Oh yeah, it is different now
on both TikTok and Instagram.
Meghan and Melisa. You might be asking, why didn't you do that from the beginning? Because someone had it.
Yeah.
It was like a child.
It was weird too. Like,
but they were a child when they had it.
They were a child when they had it, and if they spelt their names the same way that we spelled.
And it was like they had like one like weird picture of like a cat or like a piece of chocolate or something, and it was from like 2013.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, you're a child, but you're no longer a child, so like give us this back. Somehow we have it now. Ayo.
We put it on our vision board, and then we manifested it happening.
As a manifesting generator, I did manifest it. Felt attacked hearing about that. I was like, whoa. Of course Melissa heard this and was like, this is us. Anyways, we will see you all next time. Goodbye.
Don't Blame Me is a production by me. Executive produced by Melissa DeMonts and Diamond Imprint Productions. Edited by Coco Lawrence. Post-production sound by Chris Henry. Production assistance by Melanie D. Watson. Music by Ryan Hunter and Giacomo Picasso.
Merry Christmas, everybody. My name is Eric Peterson. I'm here with my good buddy,
Danny Jordan.
And we are the co-hosts of the Chris. Let me try that again. Merry Christmas, everybody. My name is Eric Peterson. I'm here with my good buddy,
Danny Jordan.
And we are the hosts of Christmas Countdown Show.
We're so thrilled to be bringing the merriment to you all this holiday season.
It's going to be awesome.
It's going to be massively merry, gigantically jolly, fantastically festive, as some people might say, Eric. We are all about alliterations, and we are all about Christmas spirit. On Christmas Countdown, we love to count down our top 10 favorite things related to the holiday season. That could be food, movies, music, everything that we all love about this massively merry good time. So wherever you get your podcasts, make sure you click that subscribe button. Eric, are you ready?
I am ready, and we hope that you are too. Merry Christmas, everybody. Let's go. It should be like, let's go, ho, ho, ho.
Yeah, it should be. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Jennifer, a co-founder of the Go Kid Go network. At Go Kid Go, putting kids first is at the heart of every show that we produce. That's why we're so excited to introduce a brand new show to our network called The Search for the Silver Lining, a fantasy adventure series about a spirited young girl named Isla who time travels to the mythical land of Camelot. During her journey, Isla meets new friends, including King Arthur and his Knights of the Round Table, and learns valuable life lessons with every quest, sword fight, and dragon ride. Positive and uplifting stories remind us all about the importance of kindness, friendship, honesty, and positivity. Join me and an all-star cast of actors including Liam Neeson, Emily Blunt, Kristen Bell, Chris Hemsworth, among many others, in welcoming the Search for the Silver Lining podcast to the Go Kid Go network by listening today. Look for the Search for the Silver Lining on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts.